Peace and blessings, y'all. This is your boy Gerald. It is December 9th, 2016. How is everybody doing? You're getting ready to step into your weekend, y'all, and I hope that your week finds you well. Being able to ground your feet, sidestep the negativity by speaking your truth, but always placing God first in everything that you do. This video right here, y'all, I'm going to save y'all the hassle because this video is only for a select people. And if you do not have a connection, not only with your spirituality, I'm going to save you the hassle. Turn the video off. But if you are one of those people that are at the crossroads and you've had occurrences go on in your life that you don't like to speak about because when you do, people look at you like you crazy. Or there isn't that innate feeling within yourself that you just don't understand, but whenever you feel it, the precursor is always an event. But see, this video right here is for those that are committed to themselves unconditionally. If you have a relationship with man, man, on this earthly realm, you're not going to understand what I'm trying to convey. But I hope you have the courage to hear, because when you see it, you might have a better understanding of what's going on. So this video, like I said, is for the intended heart, the intended mind. But I will send prayers to those who are on their journey that feel that there's no relevance to what's been going on. And as long as my feet are grounded, Gerald, and I got money in my pocket, that's all I need, because I manifest these things. I wish you well. But all things come full circle for a reason. Just as you have a reason that you breathe. Just as you have a reason that you woke up, because you have a divine purpose, and that's why you exist. So I wish you well. Now, for everybody else, you do understand, y'all, that aggressively for the last 10 years, they've tried to socially change your perceptions by distractive techniques. They've tried to get you to have some type of condoning position and to not question, but yet it doesn't go in sync with what your belief system is about. There's a reason for all of that. Now, the short and skinny version of this is this. If I can control your mind, that means I can dictate your perceptions. And if I can dictate your perceptions, guess what? I can control how you respond. I can turn around and sway what your motivation is. And this is very dangerous, y'all, because we live in a world where you have those that look just like you that only want to destroy your life. Does it surprise you, 2016, how there's such an influx of BS garbage in the media? You're constantly being barraged everywhere you look. There's stuff that should not matter, and the things that you need, you've got to more or less go through an Easter egg hunt to better you. So that should tell you right then and there that they don't want you to better yourself. They want to keep you deaf, dumb, and blind. Here is an example. Was you aware, are you aware that in Canada, they have approved bestiality? For those who do not know what bestiality is when you can sleep with that goat or that pet. And the Canadian government has said, it's okay, you can do it as long as you don't hurt nobody. Also, right now, if you go right up here, you'll see a whole lot of videos regarding the LGBT community and how there are factions that want to align themselves so that it's okay. And what is going on is discussions of the legal age of consent. There are actually discussions or lobbyists that want to legalize pedophilia. This is 2016, y'all. And I know there's some people that you're probably feeling a certain kind of way if you've ever been sexually assaulted. If you've ever had to deal with incest, date rape, or just physically dominated to submit your sexuality. Well, there's discussion on that now. This is what's going on right now. So let's throw that to the side. Unfortunately, we live in a society that man has always tried to elevate himself. I'm saying this is a general consensus, general example, but man has always strived to put himself equal to God, but do not want to acknowledge God. That's why there's such an emphasis on romanticizing the occult, such as Ouija boards and tarot cards and tea leaves. But the problem with that is, even though we use 6% of our brain, it was written not to do so. Why do you think he put it there? Now, mind you, we are spiritual beings. You're a spiritual being before this flesh. But you could not be alive without the blood inside you. Who am I talking to? Just from a logical standpoint, when God created Adam, he had no life. So he had to give of himself to create life. That's why you hear the term living blood, because that's exactly what it is. Without blood flow, you don't exist. You are not, you're just an inanimate object, no different from these glasses. There's no blood in it, so it won't move. And every creature found on this planet has it. Every creature on this planet has a DNA code. So why are we trying so hard to destroy it? What is it that they don't want you to know? Or is it they want you to stay the course because they realize that from a spiritual side, a spiritual position, you are more powerful than you can imagine if you knew how to tap in. Here's an example. What do you think you're feeling when you tap into your emotions? I'll break it down even a little more. What is that you are feeling when you're angry? What is that that you're feeling when you're sad? What is that that you're feeling when you're truly elated? That is nothing but your spirit. That is nothing but you, the real you. But unfortunately, we live in a world where status quo is emphasized and torment is continued. You actually believe, you actually believe that you're not great. You actually believe you are not beautiful. You actually believe that you do not grow. Who convinced you? Who convinced you? So let's go in reverse. Growth. Growth is a process. Therefore, it must be progressive. So if you're stagnant, you're not growing. Therefore, that means you are not cultivating what is your environment, your reality as you see it. How? Just because the environment is the influence. Have you ever just considered when things occur that may be demonically done? Demons are real, y'all. Yes, I mean, I know. Think of it this way. If demons were not real, why would they try so hard to get you to look at them in a certain realm, to not be afraid of them? They've been doing this since day one. Casper, the friendly ghost. They want you to embrace, oh, ghosts are real, but you won't acknowledge that God existed. It's kind of hypocritical, don't you think? Because you can't have ghosts without God. Meanwhile, you have people running around with pentagrams and desecrating themselves through behaviors that do not enhance them, but deplete them. Maybe you are going through that phase right now because you're tired. Or when you come around certain people, your energy feels zapped. That is nothing but a spiritual influence. That's why I tell everybody, If you think you're going through something, you cannot change it until you acknowledge it exists. I'll go even deeper. If you are walking around with a broken heart, you cannot fix it unless you acknowledge it is broken. Who am I talking to? But if you listen to people in the cheap seats, step back a second and look. This is what you'll find. They have no relationship with God. And unfortunately, they do not have a relationship with themselves. And that's the reason, maybe that's why they gravitate towards you. They see you as the light, the inspiration, the motivation. So why can't they see it themselves? But see, we have some people right now. There's discourse in your lineage. You know that name you have. You do understand your last name is blessed. You know that, right? I know there are going to be some people say, oh, no, my deadbeat daddy gave me that name and I don't mess with him. Let me tell you something. Because God loves you so much. He gave you an opportunity to step into this earthly realm. What the trade-off was, you were to fulfill a certain task. And you know what it is because you feel it. Who am I talking to? See, listen, you're not crazy. You're not. But you may be in distress. How many pills do you have to make you feel a certain way? The question should be, what's making you feel that way? Or who? And I guarantee when you're able to identify that, I guarantee the balance will come. But see, with some people, they won't tell you this. Something happened along the way. Maybe in their adolescence years, a lot of times it occurs in their early development. Now, before I go into that, I'm going to throw this out here. And this is for those people that feel that I don't need a man, Gerald. And every time I got a man, it deceives me. The reason why you keep going through that, because you haven't learned the lesson that you're not supposed to do it anyway. That's why I echoed this for years. Stop looking for a man. Stop. All you're responsible to do is prepare. How can you ask someone to sit at the table to communicate your needs and wants when you don't know your needs and wants? And you're wondering why you're being exploited. Because they know that you're not doing the work. Now let's go back in time. This is for those people that I commend you on your courage and your fortitude to continue down your life path. Now, what I'm about to tell you may startle you, and for some, it may be the validation you've been looking for. You know why you went through that abuse? May it be physical, sexual, emotional. You know why you went through it at that age? Because that was the time that the devil was able to identify who you were, and he had to strike you then. He had to attack you then. And he was hoping that that trauma would set up a cycle that would be so intense that on the backside, when he was ready to take your soul, which means take your life, you would have given up on yourself anyway. Because you got to understand something, y'all. You can't be possessed unless you ask, unless you give permission. That's why the scripture is written in that way. You have to ask God to give you protection by repentance, to atone for it. And it doesn't matter. Let me tell you something. Because I know some people that they eat, sleep doctrine, right? And they're going to have a point of view that they don't want to accept from another interpretation. But just know this. Or let me throw this hypothesis out here. What happens to the people that live on this planet that don't know God by name, but they live a good life? What happens to those people? You know, those indigenous people. You don't actually think that because they can't speak his name as we know his name, which you already know in different places in the world, they call him as they know him to be. Because it's here in your heart. Everything that you're ever about is found in your heart. That's why the heart is easiest to be deceived. That is why it's always said, do not always go by sight. Because 2016, we already know that things can be manipulated. They've got technology out there, just like I'm talking to you, and they can manipulate that to make it sound like I'm saying something else, and that person didn't even do it. That's the world we live in. But this video is not for everybody. Because truth of the matter is, you haven't been made a believer yet. You haven't had that moment occur that shakes you to the core before you finally say, okay, all right, all right. Why do you think you have those feelings you can't explain, or you go somewhere and then all of a sudden your hairs stand up? Because those are spirits in that damn. And they're there. I'll do one better. Why do you think spiritual attacks occur? It's because they are always driven to seek the light, the pure spirit. Why do you think all these children every day come up missing in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, in a nation, internationally? Why? Why do you think they do that? Because the strongest presence ever is innocence, because it's pure. Nobody wakes up. No one's born to be a racist. No one's born to be a harlot. No one's born to be a serial killer. And let me throw this out here too. There is going to always be a spiritual divide. You got to decide. You're going to have to make a decision which side you want to be on. But guess what? The devil will do everything he has to get you to betray yourself first. Meanwhile, while you're looking at him all cockeyed and like, man, I can't believe he cheated on me with that with that girl, and she wasn't even my equal. She was less than. But the response is, emotionally, it affected you. It may have jaded your perception. And maybe the outcome was, I want you to lose faith in that gender. And I want you to go over there to Charlene so she can destroy your life. Life is not about spiritual, it's not about smoke and mirrors, y'all. It's not. It's about protecting your legacy. Because sooner or later, in the intended time and moment, you will take your last breath. But here's a precursor to that. God forbid you get sick. And see who comes running. That'll tell you right there. But see, society wants you queens to destroy what is most sacred, you. But see, they want you to believe that you can have whatever you desire as long as you keep them golden arches open. But why is it when you keep them golden arches open, you attract pain? That's time released. You see what I'm doing. You know exactly where I'm at. Because that's your temple. Even Prince tried to warn us. Regardless of what he displayed himself at, Prince was a spiritual man. But for a spiritual person, you know this. Everything that you take in and are exposed to, there are two versions. And depending on your state of mind and being, will you see it? Why do you think they laugh at society and call people sheep? Because sheep are easily influenced, passive aggressively, by force, meaning guidance, or by pleasure. I'm feeding you. But the kicker is, what am I feeding you? Hoping that you will take the bait. Hold that thought, y'all. Thank you for your patience. You know, when we blink, if we blink twice, y'all, we'll be in a new year. New opportunity, new experiences, new focus. I just hope that you have the courage to do those things that you know that you should do and make it a reality because you already know what you don't need. That's why it's so important to embrace humility. Humility is the doorway to compassion. The root word is passion. And what is passion? Passion is the things that you would do for free. It brings you inner joy, maybe expression. These are the makings of you. And you notice the things that you truly enjoy doing or find pleasure in, you never get tired. It's because that's part of your purpose. But if you allow them, the people in the cheap seats, to continue to hijack your emotions. Here's the thing. Why are you loyal to people that are not loyal to you? Because you're related to them? Because you are married to them? Or is it because secretly there's a fear inside you that you're unable to look at it by yourself? You know, you've got people in this world that align themselves with people just because they are a vessel. It's a body. But then when you ask, hey, so what is it that you and such like to do? And they are dumbfounded. Well, because you're sleeping with a stranger. You give an opportunity for someone to plug into your life to drain you. All the while using covert tactics to rewire how you think. We know that is brainwashing. We also know that is Stockholm syndrome too. Well, I'm with him because, you know, he made me feel safe. He can never make you feel safe. You make yourself feel safe by making good choices. But that's true. But the sad thing is, if the scenario was, if you was to fall down today, would they be there? You know, the answer is they would forget about you. Well, Gerald, I got to do certain things to make sure that he's okay. But what you're really saying is you're going to put these things up there to sacrifice to that person. Maybe you're cooking for them, or maybe you're draining them 3-4 times a week to keep them at bay. But the truth of the matter is, it's draining you. But here's the reality is. The reality is their body is there, but their mind is somewhere else. It's always been there. And they're going to look at you like this. That's why some of you have unfortunately found this out. Cheating doesn't do nothing but cheat yourself. I've had people say, well, Gerald, you know, my intentions were good. They didn't tell me the things I needed to know, but you didn't have the courage to ask them. So people have the position of, I'm going to tell you what you need to know to keep the status quo or buy time for me. But guess what? All things done in the dark come to the light. That is not a saying, that's for real. The closer that you love yourself. Give me this, explain this to me. If you know what you need, why ain't you stepping to it? Why aren't you prepared for it? Wasn't a God that said, I just require faith of a mustard seed? You know how small a mustard seed is? Do you really know? Let me show you something. Faith of a mustard seed is smaller than the head of this pin. So in literal sense, he's saying, just show me something. Just show me that you committed to this. And watch what I in turn show you. But because we are visual people, men are visual creatures, period. I got this feeling somebody right now, your problem, you in a relationship, but that person's eye is burning because you don't even like going out with him because every time you know what he's going to do, you know, dang. And you feeling a certain kind of way. But you wouldn't go through that if you wasn't there. But I'll put the ray of hope on the back end of that statement. The moment that you have the courage to start looking at you, you'll also understand why they're in your life. Because we are what we attract. That's why it doesn't serve us to have secrets. Who am I talking to? You might have been that person who said, well, Gerald, you know what? Well, look, you stating the obvious already. I already know that. You know, and, you know, I was in this position where, you know, I'm not going to be young forever. So, you know, I'm just dating around, you know, and it's not my fault that, you know, they wanted to take care of things. But guess what? You were the bait. You were ransoming your mortality. And the moment that you decided to protect it, what happened? They showed you a side you didn't see. So does it surprise you why they're calling you out of your name today? But what's sad is you acknowledge it. Let me tell you something. God loves you more than you love you. And he's not going to give you what you needed all along until you do the work. But see, I got it. I got it too, because I know there's a lot of you kings out there that say, well, you know what? Man, there's just a lot of women out here, dog. And, you know, I don't set out to get with them, but they just look good. Let me tell you what. I'm going to tell you how it affects you. Every time you take it upon yourself to pull your dipstick out to check someone's, you are robbing yourself of your seed. You know that orgasm? That's blessed, brother. Would you, if you were thirsty and someone said, hey, I want something to drink, and they gave you a very festered cup and it was nasty, would you drink from it? So why are you out there? And I'm saying that because you're looking at a cat that was, I was a hoe. I was a harlot. And I thank God that he had mercy on my life that I never got an STD. But I ended up having to pay for it, though, after the fact, though, because I'm in my late 40s, y'all. Yeah, I am. And I have a daughter that's 17. Don't have a relationship with her. I don't. And every day I pray for her protection. From the first moment I laid eyes upon her. That is my heart. But that was a deception. That's just like when you hear queens, you hear a lot of y'all say, well, why can't I have a good man? Because you're not a good woman. The energy you put out is the energy you're gonna get. And then you have those that are pure, that are golden, that do not know better. And they take things for face value. They trust, they want to believe everything you say, only to become the next contestant on the price is too high. He said that he was going to be there forever, but he got you feeling like you're a bowling ball. He got you doing things you said you would never do, and you are. But there's no loyalty there. Well, girl, I feel a certain kind of way. There's no love there. That's lust. That's lust, y'all. Meanwhile, you got an impressionable little boy, an impressionable little girl, feeding off of what the media puts out for the right influence to come along, and then they say, I want to be just like you. That's why it doesn't benefit you guys to say, well, you can't beat him. You got to join him. Well, he had a bunch of women. Well, I can't have a bunch of men. Queen, let me explain something to you. And this is the truth. Even though you don't want to look at it, there is something called a spiritual hierarchy. And you know it. And it will never change. God created Adam, then he created Eve. You know why he created Adam before Eve? Because after he did his works, he rewarded him with her so he could protect her heart. Who am I talking to? Not break it. But the devil was there now, wasn't he? He knew how perfect she was, how fragile she was, and as he was a thief in the night, he said all the things that she needed to hear. And the world has been in the cycle that it was. That's why the devil doesn't like truth, y'all. Here's another truth you might not like, but I'm speaking it into existence. You actually believe that because you're young, your sex drive is the way it is because of your genetics. But in actuality, your sex drive is a description of the lack of intimacy that you have. That's why you think you got that drawer over there. And I'll break it down even more. See, people want to harvest, but they don't want to sow the seed correctly. And they wonder why it becomes mutated. But let me tell you something, Queens. Don't fall prey to what these broken women out here trying to profess. Don't do it. And it's not for my benefit, it's for yours. Because what you don't realize, watch this. You got the LGBT community, right? And it's made up of diverse people. Did you know that there's a group of people that are into pedophilia that want to align themselves with that group? Now, right off the bat, it's in the God already told you you're supposed to be with your mate. He didn't already said that, so you're gonna have to deal with that. Now, haven't you noticed as the years progress, so does the decline of the moral code also? It's because like they're socially beating you up to break you down to accept it. Some of y'all know this too. For those who understand that, you're being silenced right now. They want you to accept right now. If not, they will ostracize you. Because right now, that's what they want to promote. Now, on the flip side, why is it for some women that you're waving the feminist flag? Why do they all have the same traits? Number one, they're ultra sensitive, but they take no accountability. They deflect. And if they deflect, guess what? They can't speak truth. And if they can't speak truth, how is it that they allow themselves to be conditioned by pain? Because every one of these women that waves that flag, deep down inside, there's been a man that has hurt them. So guess what? The motivation is pain. The motivation is ego. The platform is denial. If there was divine intervention going on and there was a man in these individuals' lives, they would not have time for that. But the key, the whole social climate is they're angry. The question should be asked, why aren't you acknowledging your anger to change it? Because that means you have to be truthful with your choices. And you see it all the time. You see it. You see it in the mannerism of most women today. You ask a woman something that she misinterpreted and she was blatantly wrong. She will not come back. She will not say, you know what? I thought this was the case and I felt passionate about it. I'm sorry. Bridging the gap, communication sender receivers. No, they're too loyal to that platform and position. But it's that same platform and position that keeps you estranged, keeps you emotionally in exile. You shouldn't be walking around with a position of when you see a couple holding hands and you the first one to say, you know what? Why are you tripping on what they doing? Because secretly that's what you desire. You don't believe me? What is the disposition of your girlfriends? I guarantee there's one in a bunch. Every time that someone is fond of you, they're the first one to throw negative out there. Oh, don't do that. Oh, don't do that either. I bet you did. Isn't it your life? Or is it theirs? Why? Because misery loves company. And that should tell you right there, there's an agenda going on. an agenda that they're benefiting from that you can't see. That's why they'll never be there when you need them to be. But they're always there, front row, when you're going through something. Why? Because they don't have your best interest. And 9 times out of 10, your relationship is in tandem. She wants companionship, they leave. Now she's got a baby. You go do the same thing. Now you got a baby. And you're both miserable. There's no ownership there. The moment that you decide to dust yourself off, say, well, you know what? I think I'm going to go this route. They're the first one to talk you from doing it. But here's the thing, here's the dialogue in that. There's no discussion about God at all. Come on, girl, let's go over to the club so we can go bust it open. Let's go ahead and see who's the next contestant of Who Wants to Ride the Wonder Wheel. Only to leave you broken, picking up the pieces. Some of y'all having to pick up your panties. Like, how did I get here? I know I should have stayed home. I got this guy I don't know. And respect is already out of the window because you put yourself there. You can't sit up here and say, well, I was drunk. No, you made a decision before you left your house to feed that need. Well, he didn't tell me that. You didn't ask, now did you? And what's going on nowadays? There are hundreds and thousands of people online that have been, where is it? Come on, girl. Come on. Let me record that. Let me go get my GoPro. Yeah, just between you and I. Till you piss them off. And then they put you out there. Is a man of your dreams supposed to do that? I think not. Now, let me throw this out here too. Now, what you decide to do in the confines of where you live is your business. If you want to swing off the chandeliers, if you want to sexually express yourself, that's your business. As long as the respect is equal. If he respects himself, why would he put himself in a position to disrespect you? Because through that soul tie, because that's what it is, you are now an extension of him. Because you do understand every time that you sexually intertwine part of your spirit, I'm talking your soul, and part of theirs becomes one. So what ends up happening is their setbacks and their spiritual blocks and shackles, now you're exposed to them. Because now that intimacy has been a bridge between one person to the next. But they're not going to tell you that. They're just going to go off of the attraction. Oh, girl, he's handsome. He don't have much, though, but I like him. Or he ain't my type, but he got a whole lot of money. Don't you understand? Your heart's not for sale, but why do you put a price tag on your backside? And you wonder why it's swollen. Well, I got needs and urges, Gerald. Nah, the urge is the desire to be loved. The need is to feel emotionally safe. The action is the act. Who am I talking to? That's why when you look at some of these relationships out here, you look at some of these marriages out here, and you see these marriages, they've been together for a period of time, then you're like, damn. On the outside, they got it going on, but on the inside, they're living apart. Why is this? Because the illusion wore off and the selfishness stood up. That's why blues legend Marvin Sease had this song a long time ago. It's cheaper to keep her. But at what price? Your heart? I would divorce you, but I don't want to lose half my stuff. Well, you're already losing half of your emotions by being with her. Who's the fool? Who's doing time in their mind? And who won't be there in the end? Mind you, you are setting the precedence and the example to your kids. God forbid you have a son and you are a father and all you did was run women in and out. Well, he's going to think that's normal to do. Or you may feel that you got to stronghold somebody to get them to act. Why do you got to show aggression to somebody to treat you right? Shouldn't that tell you right there you ain't on the same page? But yet, society has condoned the fact, well, don't worry, she's going to get pissed off. She's going to bust your windows out. She's going to turn around and deface your property only to stand in front of a judge that don't give a damn about her to make her pay and put her on papers. Mind you, you just gave free money to the court system. And you have delayed your progression economically. Who am I talking to? I've heard women say, well, Gerald, sometimes you got to, a woman's going to get the last word. Maybe the greatest words you could ever convey is silence. Because people always want what they don't have. And if you were above board, leave. But then I hear people say, well, Gerald, that's easy said and done. I got kids, Gerald. That means he's going to be around for 18 years. So you saying that you are ransoming your life for 18 years because of this person that don't respect you? But little do you know is you are sabotaging the mental state and the influence of that child. Who am I talking to? Why do you think Johnny is laid out there on that street? Cold. Why do you think Sarah is in that bathroom cleaning herself up just for some coins? Because she doesn't see her value, even though as she walks away, the pain, the throbbing that was economically wagered is going to make up for it? I think not. I think not. This is all about condoning the spiritual climate, y'all. That's why it doesn't benefit you to continue to run. Why won't you be honest for a change? Why won't you have that conversation with God? You call yourself strong. Why won't you humble yourself and have that conversation with him? He's the only one that's going to change it. Why are you having conversations in your mind, in your car as you're driving away? I'm like, I should have said that. If he only knew what I really meant. On the flip side, I'm like, I'm just waiting you out because I got something better. And those people end up paying a tragic price in the end. Because that energy you put out has now a life of its own. And maybe the initial target was not you. You were the influence, but the target was your children. And ain't nothing worse to see your child in distress and you can't do a damn thing about it. Why? Because your pride keeps your mouth shut. Who am I talking to? Kings, how can you call yourself a man if you won't take a knee for God? You're not. You're not. It doesn't matter how much money you got. If it's not blessed, systematically your pain will be watching it be taken away. And ain't nothing more hurtful to hold on, try to hold on for dear life to something that you value. But the funny thing is, they never valued you. And just as quick as you descend, just as quick as they forget, we are what we attract. Meanwhile, socially, I told y'all, Queens, just look back 3 years. I said, stop playing with your body. I told you that. Because what is going on is your body gets tired. Your genetic code was made perfect. But the white blood cells can do but so much if you constantly are barraging it with the things it don't need. And you're wondering why people walk around looking like Dr. Seuss characters. And if I just tighten it up, when I see people like that, that tells me, that screams, I don't love me. But what you don't hear is those people that are doing it saying, you are a fool, but thanks for getting me paid. Well, Joe, I just want my hair this way because of that. Why don't you grow it? Why don't you grow it? Takes dedication. Well, Joe, I didn't put on these 45 pounds and I feel bad. You feel bad because that is nothing but your hormones in the state that it is in. But just think back when you wasn't that way and how you felt. The challenge is getting back to who you were. That means you might have to cut people out of your life. Cut them out. That secretly they don't give a damn about you anyway. But the sex is good, but the abuse is worse. That's why when I laugh when I hear people say, well, to get over someone is to get under someone. Yeah, go ahead and get under that demon. But when he starts beating your ass, where's the love there? When she can't keep her legs closed, where's the honor in that? You're basically saying that, God, I know that what you have in store for me, I'm impatient and I'm going to take matters in my own hands. And haven't you noticed every time that you take matters in your own hand, there's always a lesson attached to it? It was all good yesterday. How did I get here? But no matter if you are there, guess what? The moment that you make that, you are honest with yourself and allow that little boy or that little girl inside you to get back on one and have that conversation with God, he's going to unlock that door and he's going to bring you through it. But it's going to be slow. You know why? Because he's waiting to see if you understand what you witness. Who am I talking to? You should not be that person that has this mindset. Man, I can get them. I can knock them all down. I can get them. But they never stick around. So now it only goes for so far. If you're in a position where you are already intuitively thinking, I didn't see this before. I saw this with Charlie. But you with Eddie. And Eddie's acting like Lawrence. The common denominator is you. Nobody can do anything to you you won't allow. So how much is your heart worth? How much is your self-respect worth? Is it worth that pain you carrying? Because some of y'all been carrying pain since your childhood, and your childhood has an impact on the relationships you have in your adult. I don't trust people like that because, I don't trust women, because women are, they scandalous. But you're a woman. The insight is taking note what you see and seeing how it impacts your environment. Birds of a feather flock together for a reason. They have no direction. If they have no direction, they have no purpose. And if they have no purpose, they have no life. Well, we have this relationship, this strange relationship. Like, he provides for me, but I just wish he would hold my hand. Who am I talking to? He's a great listener, but when I ask him things, he looks at me like I'm the brick wall. He just it's because he's not investing in you. You may be loving on him, but he's loving on her. Why do you think that OJ's wrote the song "Your Body's Here with Me, but My Mind's on the Other Side of Town"? Who am I talking to? That is your favorite song, ain't it? Because that's the life you've been living. But it makes you feel numb. It makes you feel hollow, and your behavior is shallow. Why? Because you are depleting yourself. Which goes back to what I said earlier. The devil needs your permission to destroy you. I hear what you're saying, Gerald, but I ain't that bad. But why you crying at night? Why you feel that people don't get you? People don't get you because you don't get you. You need to come get you. You maybe have the courage to stand up and claim your life back. Because until you do, you're doing a life sentence, but you're not living your life. You see it all the time. You see it all the time. People say, well, if it was me, then be the example. Because I'm going to tell you this. For those people that place God first in everything you do not worry. God's got it under control. But you are not exempt to spiritual attack. That's why when things pop up, it's to see if you're going to go into prayer. If you're going to be still, or you are discerning. And you see it all the time. You see the examples of your environment through the people that you've associated with. You see it all the time. Be out and about with somebody, and then you see somebody that knows the real you. You like, oh shit. Why? What you running from? Don't you know you realize you're running from your testimony? Because guess what? Every step you take is preparation for those that are going to come right behind you. So when's the last time you told yourself, I love you? When's the last time that you've actually opened yourself up to speak what you need by writing it down? How about acknowledging what you don't? Habits are made through perpetual behavior. Well, Gerald, I just like how he's rough with me sometimes, but it's exciting. That's because he's preparing you for that deception that's coming down the road. And that ain't nothing but disrespect, covertly masked under lust. He talks to me a certain way and he gets me. If he gets you, why didn't he marry you yet? And I'll bring this home. Why is it that you look at all these reality shows? They're all progressive. We'll use, for example, Bad Girls. Bad Girls Club is puberty, adolescence, and they promote nothing but promiscuity and abuse, emotional, social. That's why you see them drinking so much. But notice there's no male in that room. There's no one that says, "Hey, look here, look, no, sweetie, this is not the way." Why? They're making money off of it. They also know that there are millions that look to that for influence too. I want to be just like you. Then you have Love and Flip Flop. And the progressiveness is the same, but you're more seasoned. And you always hear this: I want someone to love me, respect me, and I have a vision and a goal, and I want to be able to be all I can. But you don't never see nobody upright. You don't never see a good dude. You never, and you darn sure ain't gonna see a spiritual one. So the cycle continues, depleting you from the inside out. You was with Charlie, and you was with Billy, and you was with Tommy, and you was with Larry, and you was with Steve. And they look at you like, and guys do it all the time. And they're not gonna marry you either. And then you have the capstone, housewives. Now you would think these women, successful in their own right, would want companionship, would want their equal to be there. But they're not. You never. That's why when Kim Fields' character, because that was a character, was on the show, she didn't fit. She didn't fit because she was married. And systematically and very covertly, they were jealous because she was happy. So, like vultures, they picked apart her self-esteem to the point where she said, "You know what? I'm good." And she bowed out gracefully. But notice the drama has always been there. It's always been there because deep down inside, all these women want to be loved. They want to be nurtured. They want to be cherished. It seems like if you're a man on the show, you're gay. You know why they put them on the show? Because he's not a risk. He's not a threat. He's a placeholder. So you can't sit up and say, "There's no good men out here, Gerald. God's not going to bless you with your behavior." He ain't. No matter no matter what you could be the most beautiful woman in the world and you will live a life of solitude until you decide to invest in who that little girl is, who that guy is. Because until you see your worth, you can't get your blessings. He just puts it in the storeroom because what you expect or ask for, that's why that's why God said you can pray all you want. You got to come to me correct. And when you do, I'll bless you with what you need. Meanwhile, Olivia is lost. How the whisper say? Lost and turned out. Olivia, where you been? And that's what's going on. Doing something strange for change. But the change should be your last name. But I know some of you know I'm telling the truth. And I know some of you are running from it. And if you're in a relationship with someone, if if it's not balanced, get the hell up out of it. You're wasting both y'all time. And especially if they don't have a relationship with God, why you gotta tell somebody to pray? They doing that for you. That's nothing but a show. That's why when Maya Angelou said, when a person shows you who they are, believe them. So shout out to my shackle breakers, my prayer warriors, and those who truly love themselves. God's got something for you. Continue to grow. Be you. Don't be them. Be you. He made you priceless. That's why you hear people say when God made you, he broke them all. Why? Because you're the exception of the rule. That's the difference between a trendsetter and those who follow the trend. Be yourself. Continue to grow. But placing God first in everything you can do, you can't go wrong. But I will tell you this, though. Take note what you see. And also be observant on what is being displayed. Sometimes God will indirectly show you something that has nothing to do with your life so that you can learn from it. So tell me again why you don't think you're handsome, why you're not beautiful, why your hopes and dreams are not blessed. Tell me again why you don't have a purpose in life. You woke up today. You woke up. That means you got stuff to do. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your work. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Yeah, there are going to be millions of people that are going to be deceived. They're going to be like, I finally made it. I finally got everything that I hoped for. Only to realize that that was not what you needed. And really, that was nothing but your prison. They were just waiting for you to walk in and lock yourself in. Have a blessed weekend, y'all. Peace.